Ooh, lace. Ooh. Ooh, kinky. I have to make a wedding dress out of it or something. I don't know who for. Anyway, I got the old wood stove cranking. Sort of had a few biscuits and a cup of tea as a half-assed temporary lunch. But I thought I could hear it boiling, but it should be getting close to boiling. Condensation dripping off the lid anyway. Just boiling up a bunch of spuds. And in the meantime, I've been getting frisky over this stuff. No. This is what I'm talking about. That's hockey strap. Not one hockey strap, it's like a whole big bloody 5 metre length of the stuff. So, I don't know, probably not 5 metres, at least 3 metres. So I've got that around there. It's my little part of that thing I was just showing you. Pull it tight there. Yeah. That isn't a 90mm. It turns out it's a 75mm. I thought it was. The one I've got on the green gutter is a 90mm because I bought it. And when you sort of look at it, like the other one on the green gutter is like really short. But it does seem a lot wider. So anyway, no big deal. I've actually got a bunch of plastic 3-inch pipe out there, which is, as I said, more or less non-existent now. I thought I had a lot more 90mm, but I don't. But those of you who might notice the big grey water line coming out of the laundry, that's 90mm. Oh shit. It was only going to be another 20 cents a metre more. And I knew if I emptied 3 washing machines at the one time, there's no way in hell that 50mm line that I use for my shower would be able to handle that. And while it might be alright for a shower that's only running at about a gallon a minute and a little basin, I quickly realised that I couldn't empty 3 washing machines and expect it to go through a 50mm line. Not the same line, but just any 50mm line, because, oh shit, they're slightly more than 3/4 inch lines, times 3 is a fair bit of water coming out at once. And for another 20 cents a metre more, I thought, stuff it, so I just put 90mm lines in. I couldn't believe it was only 20 cents a metre more. But anyway, some of this may be 90mm steel, because they do 90mm steel. That one, it almost looks like 50mm. It looks like 2-inch. Oh, yeah, it would be 2-inch. Not a hope. So anyway, there's one I was saying, it's going a bit rusty at the end, but that's what I was meaning, a 45-degree angle. Here's one with not so much a 45-degree. A lot of these are soldered up. These are ones just laying around here that my uncle had palmed off to him by his roofing plumber mate, the same guy who palmed off the guttering. Half of which was just rat shit and all ended up going to scrap metal, but some of which is alright still. It'd be good if it wasn't so bloody long. But anyway, I can still test the size. Yeah, that's going to be the right size once I get that little kink out of it there. That should be, yeah, that should be right. Little thing I might as well tell you. Well, that looked like it wasn't going to fit, and it's not just the kink actually. Just remembered this from when I used to do pergolas. They have I don't know if this one's got one. Not really. With these pipes, they actually taper from a thicker pipe to thinner at the end. And there's a little sort of a notch they do. I don't think it's like that. It's a bit more obvious than that, to indicate what end's the skinnier end and what end's the bigger end. And what it basically means is if you've got like a two-story building or whatever, you can basically just whack one end to the other into the other. And you just go and whack like a rivet or two each time you connect another one on. But they're all guaranteed to fit into each other because there's only like, it's not even a quarter-inch difference from one end to the other, but there'll be a smaller end and a bigger end, and that's obviously the smaller end, which is why it didn't fit over that. But whack on the bigger end, and you might be fine. And might play around with that one or this one or whatever. That's probably still too long. But anyway, I've got a few more as well, and we'll hash something out of all that. And all it really needs is just a short bit to go and pour straight into that. And even if you put it on a bit of an angle, if you're a smart cookie, you don't go up too far, and you can still get it on a little bit of an angle, although then it's not really sitting solid. You've got to get it a fair way up to sit solid, but if you want to tilt it, of course, you've got to come down to the smaller taper. I'm not really even showing that on the camera. Anyway, yeah, I'll take you for a little wander outside. Cobblestones. Bloody cobblestones. There's a spot past, and I put my finger over the mic. Some of you guys that have been subbed to me for a few years would have seen this. There's a spot here, and it's sort of, this is cobblestone, same as the Roman Empire used to build, same as the French still have. Look at them. This is not natural, this is man-made. And this looks very obvious here, because this is burnt out. But I realised a few years ago that there is cobblestones all down through here, right over to here. And some of them, you saw just dirt, well, they're half an inch under the surface. And they just continue on and continue on because there's no way in hell this sort of crap happens naturally right next to other areas where it's completely blank out there. Not normally anyway. But anyway, they hit a line, and I think it's around about here. It pretty much ends, and you can see sort of a line going along there. But all this is, and it's sort of obvious where it's burnt out. But, yeah, I mean, it's all stuck in by hand. And they'd sort of hammer them in with a rubber mallet or whatever, and you get to this point here, and it all sort of ends again. And then she's all pretty free. This is an original rock outcrop, I think, right here, because they are bloody enormous under there. But it sort of remains of a bunch of rubbish there, and a bit of stuff here going in the line. Big cluster of rocks, that line there sort of follows down through. And this is one I picked up on a long time ago. While the other one's bigger cobblestones, you see that dip there? That was a dog that was tied to, with that front end loader we got, that was parked here. And he was chained to the bucket on the front or something like that. And this is where the dog ran around in circles on the length of his very short chain and made a bit of a curve in the soil. But in all of that I noticed something. And it was more obvious when the dog was actually here and alive before the dirt moved things and the sheep kicked mud around and everything. All this was cobblestones, and if you look really closely, you probably can't see it in the camera, there's actually a line about there. And all these small rocks start in that line there. And then from here on, and all under here, it's pretty much like this. A lot of small rocks all very close together. And the best example is on the driveway here, which was never really a driveway per se until I went and threw some gravel on it. But all the same, lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of small rocks. This stuff is the same stuff I'm fighting my way through right now. She's sort of pretty good along here. And then I come to the corner here, and it goes to hell from here. And every inch of the way you're dredging up tons and tons of bloody rocks. and it continues on through here, and it sort of goes pretty solid, and then all of a sudden you get to here and it's sort of quite a bit easier. But yeah, this is not a natural amount of rocks. And I sort of noticed that there was a dog here too, which is why the amount of dirt's there that was built up by a dog that would run around here, that was hooked to an old car that some of you guys might have seen, the old red Valiant sitting right here. And yeah, basically they cobblestone the shit out of all this, and now I'm trying to dig my way through it all. We're getting there, but bloody hell. It's sort of blister creating material, so I'm just sort of going a burst at a time here, but we'll get it done. We'll get it done within a couple of hours, definitely before the sun goes down, and most likely, hopefully, I'll have the gutter in here, that in and hooked on, and maybe even get the mesh cage over the top of it before the sun goes down. I'm hoping to anyway, at least to sort of start to fill things up. The other end, the other hose that goes around right over there, that's actually closed up with duct tape on the end. But all the same, we need to at least fill the water lines, and there's a lot of water line to fill just around this area to fill up with water before it even gets to flow down the hill. But anyway, we will continue on. Alrighty. I was sort of getting a little bit less light, but we're still going alright. Yes, this might get a bit of a choppity chop. And sort of get tied into all this. What you do is you cut it, say, you know, there or whatever, and then you've got this last piece here that you can bend around some of these bits or whatever. Yeah, this isn't exactly level. You don't even want to know how bad the formwork was when I done this. It was a mishmash of friggin' milk bottles and little offcuts of rubbish, and oh god, it was just a joke. And there are a few bits of steel in there. They're actually fridge racks, as you can probably tell. And what isn't where the fridge rack is, sort of, let's put it like this, when I split wood I'm going like hell sometimes, and yeah, well, I tend to be able to crack concrete that's about 3 inches thick. Anyway, don't exactly know why that piece there cracked off, but it has, as I pointed out before. Yeah, we got all this in. At some point there, I just had that same sort of feeling that Elvis Travels has got when he's on the run, and I just went like shit. And yeah, I've actually left a lot of the rocks on the surface. I'm not going to take her out there because it'll start blowing wind in the microphone if it isn't already. And I went and grabbed some dirt from over there, a bare patch used to be under the truck or whatever, and sort of topped up a bit of this for the amount of rocks that got left out, which was quite a few. So anyway, you always see that folded bit of crappy mesh. I've got that laying over the top of the T-piece. The T-piece is almost at ground level, where it goes from the 2 half-inch pipes into the 3/4 inch line before it goes into your garden hose connector and runs down there. I've stuck a few bits of wood over where it sits on the driveway, so sheep don't necessarily drag it away. I probably need a lot more wood, but I think we'll get away with it for one night anyway. Having only about 8 bits of wood there, but anyway, I've got to go and chop this and, yeah, prop this up on a couple of bricks, and might have to go around the corner and get a few more bricks. Give us a little bit of height elevation. Haven't really thought of how it's going to stay on the dam. Oh yeah, could probably just tie a string back to this and around that, because I've got plenty of string. And try and chop that up and put it around, and then yeah, even though I haven't bent that little piece out yet, I started massaging it around, and you wouldn't believe it fits straight over that without a friggin' issue. So this is probably going to just end up being a little bit that goes from there out to there somewhere and trim it off wherever with a cordless angle grinder, and then put my little fitting on there. I got the a little Milwaukee drill and the hose clamp on top of the cat food container, and yeah, well, we'll actually be in business, and that'll start filling up the lines and everything. Just so long as I make sure the little tap's on, we will be in business. And it'd be a good feeling to get one side of the house in business the day after I got the line home. So anyway, I've got to keep charging along. Well, I got it done, but you won't see it with this camera. So I'll show you tomorrow morning, but basically I've got the whole shebang on. The downpipe screwed into place, wired onto that grey fencing thingy, the little gate thing, well, the other side of where the gate is. Yeah, set all the drum up on bricks, hooked all that into the water line. I used one of those things I was saying about, the guards, and fucked it up and pulled it off and threw it on the driveway somewhere, and then got another one and set it up correctly pretty quickly. I clipped too much off the first one, so I didn't clip any off this one, and it looks bloody good actually. Good to have the guard there for when I'm splitting wood, so it doesn't sort of hit the damn drum, and it's not just the sheep I'm worried about, it's the splitting the wood that I'm most likely to cause any damage to it all. But anyway, I'll show you properly in the morning. Topped his food up, and he came running out of somewhere, I think out of the fridge room, in such excitement he headbutted the friggin' door. I gotta go and refill a bit of this. I'm just cranking the wood stove now. I just had a coffee, but I decided to boil some eggs today instead of fry some. Yeah, let's rivet it on, and tied around there, wire onto the frame, as all this juggernaut is. Still only sitting on bricks. It could be a lot nicer, but I didn't really feel like concreting a flat surface or playing around with timber or whatever when I got bricks everywhere, and I just wanted to get on with it. So, and the fact is, that's all actually very level. I had to pack it up with a little bit of masonite, which is well, that crap down there. It's bloody glorified cardboard, if you ask me. But anyway, there we go. There. Put that brick just to sort of hold it, because it kept springing up, so just hold it down a bit to not try and swivel the damn tap in its fitting there or anything like that. Yeah, so anyway, it looks like it's done something. It's got a little bit of muck on the top there. I don't think it's done much. With Black Kitty coming a little bit damp before, and it's just sort of cleared, but about half an hour ago it was misting rain through the valley. And yeah, so anyway, I'm going to, there's the other one I cracked the shits with and threw. That's a fair bloody throw actually. And I've got to try and get that one, and my 60 litre one, and hopefully I can reuse this. Cut a bit too much out. There's another piece of cut out. So I lost about, at least 4 squares out of this, which is a little bit too much, even though it looked like that's what I needed to do to get it to fit. It was sort of a little bit too far. So hopefully I can reuse this one. If not, I've got another, don't know if it's 3, it's at least 2 more spare anyway, that I can use. And yeah, there's even 1 or 2 trees inside the big ones that have bloody died anyway, so I've got plenty of these. So anyway, I'll get me 60 litre drum and we'll be whacking it on the around the other side of the house. There's the water tank there. I was going to make a separate T-piece that I forgot to buy, but I actually have one anyway. Just it's going to have to be fitted through a tap, which wouldn't be an issue. To be able to, there's a line there you can see, to be able to turn this on and run it down, but then I've got no actual filter for this, and I know there's leaves that come through on occasion, so fuck it, what I might as well do is just hook a pipe on there, even if it's the last 2 metres left over on the end of the line down there. I've also got some other 3/4 inch stuff out near where all my big junk stash is or whatever, and I've still got that good heap of that 3/4 inch hose anyway that I could hook onto there, and plenty of 1/2 inch obviously, and run it around into basically the drum, which will be sitting somewhere near where that pipe is and the big tangle of shit is. Sort of where those rocks are actually. I've got to remove those rocks, and that's pretty much where it's going to go because the little thing is right there. And then just basically turn this on slow and feed it straight in. Instead of worrying about line filters, I'll just hook the pipe up so the water pours straight into that lace mesh stuff that I'm going to tie around the top of the bloomin' drum. And that will be its filter, the same one that filters the stuff out of the gutter. And yeah, off we'll go. That is looking unbelievable. That's a bloody textbook case of a broccoli, that one. These are going good. Actually, these are going faster than I expected, these ones. It wasn't so long ago all those got planted. Yeah. Some of some of them are sort of keepable. That one there should be good, that one there. Some of the other ones are just fucked. I think that one's actually died, snapped off in all the wind. That one's just ridiculous. So is that one. So some of these ones I'm going to troop around and sort out. There was nothing coming up in this one here, so I decided to plant one in, and then one come up right near the other one. So that's going to be 2 spinach that are literally about 2 inches apart. So they're going to be crowding each other out when they get big. It's you know what happened to this one and that one? I might have to replant those, but I think I already did replant a lot of these. For some reason, there's one of them that's actually gone black almost and died. Right there. So I don't know what the hell is on with that. But for the most part, a lot of this stuff that's germinated, when I put it in, so long as I'm not, you know, too rough, and it's very easy to be too rough because they're so fragile when they're just germinated. Especially when they've germinated and then the roots got really long, because I should have put them in the ground 3 days ago, but I was busy playing around with water lines and whatever else. Then you sometimes accidentally wreck the root, and they just don't come up at all. But anyway, the spinach is definitely honking along. I'm pleased with that spinach. You know, this is something that's going to work despite a few of the issues with some of the broccoli. Some of these are alright though. That one. I'll keep the spray up to them and keep the bugs off. We'll be alright. Little bastard bug right on it. See the damn thing. Yeah, like I said, they're not all great. And a lot of those ones I have in the rabbit cage around there, they're just shit. So I might wipe some of those out. Thing is, I've got about, I don't know, probably at least 6 more spinach that really should have been planted like about 2 days ago, like I was saying. Yeah, but I was busy running around doing everything else. And, yeah, as a result, I didn't sort of get to plant those, but I need to find some pots to plant them bloody quickly. Otherwise, they obviously will be too big, and I'll probably wreck the root trying to feed a bloody 2-inch long root through a little hole, and it's going to hit the sides and blah blah, and then I'll bend it and it'll die just like some of the others and not come back. So the ones getting the chop will be some of these in here, most likely first. As I said, some of them have just been massacred to the point of non-existence. A lot of these are shit, and I think these haven't really copped enough light to really make a go of it. They look promising, but, you know, and there's some in the veranda, but all these are the ones that sort of, you know, got pretty slammed, I think. Oh, no, those ones are the ones out of where I had the silver beet there. These are the ones that dried out too much, that was it. Yeah. But even the ones that barely survived, the spray that I've still got sitting in there, some of those are just frickin' shit. They're not coming back, so I'll just have to replace them with spinach. And I'm going to go and plant another lot of spinach. Some of these might be alright, but you sort of look and you say, like, shit, is this going to go anywhere? You know, like, honestly, probably not, you know. That spinach, I probably should put that outside. That has survived, but now it's sort of doing the whole stalk up thing, I think, because it sort of hasn't got enough light. So some of these might be going outside rather quickly. I have access to the on-grid house now, so I'm going to put the lemon-scented verbena over there with the heating pad and possibly have them up against the window and have this behind them, sort of thing, to try and trap some of the heat from the light that comes through the window and whatnot. They've got a big bloody, like an architrave thing, so I'm going to have to work out. I've probably got to cut notches in like that or something to get that to all sit up right or something. But anyway, that'll be something probably later on tonight. The wind keeps blowing and blowing and blowing, which isn't very good for handling fragile plants, and especially not cardboard boxes, so I'm going to have to drive my car in here and load them with the car right next to the house, I think, just to avoid walking out into the wind.